Come on, let's get on with it. 3, 2, 1, we're almost ready. Are you ready? Go, go, go! Green, and away we go. Summer Series 25 drivers streaming down into turn 1, and already Wilco looks like he's got the jump on Albert and takes the lead, but Albert is not done with yet. He's going to go around there. Sexy Rexy, yibbida, folks, down there in 4th, and all the while this is giving Wilco the chance to pull out in front.
Themselves up here in the opening lap, but Bob, it's been hectic, but not quite as hectic as what I thought it would be. Down the inside of Sideways, is it going to work, Bob, or is it going to end in tears? I think it's come off. Yes, it has.
And it's Wilco with a nose in front as we come through to complete the lap. Sideorg, our winner from last week and championship leader, King in there as well. And don't tell me Wilco could have gone from 1st to 3rd in a matter of corners here, Bob. I reckon he's lost the lead and he could be down to 3rd by the end of the opening lap. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, right around the world. Hello and welcome as the road to the Bathurst 8 hours continues here on the Kid Buyers Twitch channel. You join us right as qualifying is underway. 20-minute qualifying session for tonight, followed by a 60-minute race with a full formation lap. And as well as that, one mandatory pit stop for tyres. No safety car for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But it's great to have your company here, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, as we look at Mint Matt. And not that I decided to come along tonight after I found out that Matt Simmons and Simon Bishop were racing. Not just my only two favourites, of course, but we take a look at Mint Matt now. Sideorg goes to the top of the timing sheets, 2:01.875, and I cut a few laps around here earlier in the week on this game, and I was nowhere near that as Matt comes across the line in his very, very distinctive, almost like the old Lotus livery there, but Simon Bishop, I think he's having another run, and they're not the only two in the race. We've got bits and missing, almost 30 guys, 26 guys along tonight as we see Hammer and Sofa King did some laps on Assetto Corsa. Some fun stuff with Hammer time last night, so good to see him in the lobby tonight as I welcome the man from South Australia. He's coming off the back of his very successful stream he did earlier on this afternoon. And he's the kind of guy that can dribble a bowling ball. That's how good he is. I speak of none other than Chuck Norris, the Nigerian Prince. Good evening to you, good afternoon to you, wherever you're tuning in from over there in South Australia. Great to have you back, and GT3s at Bathurst, name a more iconic duo.
Yeah, honestly, I can't name a more iconic duo than this, Trev. I'm looking forward to this. Last week was great. I just quickly want to say I might not have actually successfully juggled a bowling ball, but I have successfully managed to throw a bowling ball through the top of the bowling alley many years ago. But anyway, tonight though, GT3 Sideorg setting the pace with the 2:01.8. I can't remember what the guys got last week, Trev, but I do believe they almost crept into the 2-minute flats. So yeah, nice tough grid here tonight, and some different liveries that we didn't see last week as well. So looking forward to this tonight. 14 minutes left in qualifying. Let's see these times tumble, eh?
And let's have a look. I tell you what, Prince, this is going to be great because, of course, counting down to the big one in about 5 or 6 weeks' time, the 8 hours of Bathurst. Spawn Racing there has joined us. Matt and Shawnee Fuller are in the pits. Willstar goes to the top with a 201.532. Ricardo. Jimbo's in the house, so is Dinky Donk. And Jimbo as well. Rigsy there. There's a name that we love to see. And Ricardo, which he's tuning in from Holland over there in the Netherlands. And the Flying Dutchman is joining us. Good day, all. And I think that's meant to be, is that meant to be his accent there, Prince? Good day, how you going? You know, they talk like a bit like that. But evening, says Spawn. And that's the man, Spawn. I was running Spawn off the track at Nords last night on the original Assetto Corsa, would you believe? That's a bit of a throwback for you. But, boy, let's have a look at these times. And Chuck, another good turnout. These guys really need to get the practice in before the big one in March.
Yeah, absolutely. So the weeks and the days are starting to crumble down now, and this road to the Bathurst 8 hour, Trevor, it's eaten up. So these lads loving to get the time on the track, and likewise, I just want to touch on the next one, or the big one, sorry, I should say, is going to be mixed grid. So I just want to give a plug tomorrow night. We're going to be straight back here in the action, but in GT4s. So it's going to be interesting to see the pace that these guys have, what cars they actually decide to take for the 8 hour, but there's still a long way to go. We're just getting that road started, aren't we, Trev? It's getting paved.
We are on the road. It's getting paved. It's well and truly in the pipeline. What about Rigsy here? Get this. Not as much as I love hearing you lads, Trev. Thank you, Rigsy. And I said, can you stop it? Love you guys and girls. But shouldn't say love you girls as well, because Mrs. B could be tuning in, as you can see there. Andrelli coming in with the predictions. Kilroy Aston Martin 201.1 for pole position. That is quick. In fact, I think we're going to be quicker than that. And we are 201.065. We're looking at Norm at the moment. That was last week, I beg your pardon. Thank you, Andrelli. And Princess Fiona. We've got Princess Fiona in the chat too. Great to see you here, Fiona. Princess Fiona, of course. A big fan of the endurance races too, Prince, of course. Beaky, good evening, gents. Spawn, we did our fair share of that. Yep, it was me knocking Spawn off the track last night. I do apologise, Spawn. How good were the MX-5s around Scotland? And that's a terrible Scottish accent. Did the DNA test, Prince, and turns out I'm 48% Scottish. And whilst I get my kilt and haggis on the boil, Norm comes across the line 1 second off of provisional pole position. And you can see there 10 minutes, a little bit over. Oh, and somebody, is that naughty Norman going into the wall? I think he's finished his lap, Prince, and he's back in the pits.
Yeah, so finishing a lap, some people making some mistakes, or even opting just to go back to pit lane to start a fresh run here. So even though, 10.5 minutes is quite a long time, around here, obviously, you can see that most lap times would be roughly about a 2:02, I would say, as about an average. So, they might only get about 4 laps, 5 if they're lucky, in this time frame. So, making sure that your tyres are optimal and making sure that you've got just the right amount of fuel to get yourself into a good flying lap is definitely key. So I'm keen to see how these guys go over this next 10 minutes. This Hammer going down Skyline looks very nice in the Bentley there, Trev.
Certainly does. I've got to tell you that don't let that distract you from the fact that Princess Fiona, look at that special VIP badge. I think we handed that out last season in the Endurance Championship, Prince, of course, selected by Chuck Norris. The man who does not misspell words. He just gets the Oxford Dictionary to change it to whatever spelling he decides he wants. And we are on fire. 9 minutes remaining in quali. Who can you see Chuck Norris getting anywhere near that 201.0? That is quick. Could we see a 2 flat? No, I don't think we will, Prince, because that's going to be very quick, isn't it, around here?
Yeah, the 2-minute flats is definitely very quick. And not a lot of people can, I would say, get into the 2-minute flats. And I guess the difference that I've got is I predominantly play ACC on the PC, so times are a little bit quicker. Sometimes you see people getting into the 58s and stuff like that, where on the console it tends to be that little bit slower than what you see over there. So These guys, though, Willstar was absolutely on fire, almost making it into the 2-minute flats. And I think somebody else just jumped up there. Might have been Zest. Yeah, I think it might have been Zest jumping up into the top 4 there as he's gone back to pit lane, maybe to start another run, Trev.
Well, I tell you what, I may have had half a bottle of scotch, but let me tell you this. If I highly doubt you're going to see a more exciting race of action here tonight because...
Get in my sack!
Ajax!
Get in it!
Ajax! Get in my sack! Absolutely love that sneaky sound effect that you chucked in there, Prince. Let's have a look at Hammer. Let's have a look at some of the other drivers, because there's a couple of new names here as we work our way down the order. Ajax Spray and Wipe saying, let's go Sidorg, let's go Doof Doof. And Fiona says, hello, hello VIP. That's right, very important person, Princess Fiona, in the house tonight. But a couple of new people here. We've got Water Arrow, who is in the pits. We've got Carpet Snake, who was along for the ride as well in our social races last night. And Stone Harbour as well, another new name, Prince. We just keep reeling them in here at KRL. Not KRL, but in this championship. So they love to race in this series. And you know what they say? Yes! And Kurt rocks the house. I think that he is now following the channel. He or she is following the channel, Prince. But great to see so many new people along for the ride here.
Yeah, I love to see plenty of new faces, not only on the track, but also joining the community and the stream as well. So I just want to do a quickly friendly reminder. If you're out there and you haven't quite hit that follow button, I can definitely tell you right now, you are missing out on plenty of great content here. So please be sure to hit that follow button, turn them notifications on, and just sit back and enjoy the stream.
And that is exactly what Kurt Rocks is doing now. And also, thank you to Chuck Norris, Chuck Norris, as we see Stone Harbour just graze the wall ever so slightly. No real harm done. That might harm his lap time, though. But born to try, born to be try, also following Prince, thanks to your shout-out. And please, get in that chat and get those little Nigerian fingers working furiously to give yourself a shout-out. Because Chuck Norris, I shouldn't be saying that, Chuck, because we do have a sort of a professional jealousy here on Twitch where the Prince will get so many follows. And I try to catch you, Prince, but you're always one step ahead.
Yeah, it's like that catch me if you can, you know what I mean? I forgot who said that, but it's probably been said for decades, but you know that catch me if you can kind of thing, you know? It's kind of like that. I'm trying my hardest to try and keep in front of Trev here, so, you know, guys, if you're out there, please help Trev get to 300, because I'd greatly love to see that over the course of tonight. But back onto the action, though, I don't want to digress too much. I typically do that quite a bit, don't I, Trev? But some of these times, though, Trev, I've got to admit, our newcomers and you know, people that have just signed up to the Oz New Zealand PS5 Endurance Series, they're putting in some good times, and I look forward to seeing them on the track.
As Mint Matt goes across the line, the number 8 Porker coming through turn 1 there. Wilco's joined us. Where's that safety car driver from last week? Boy, he was quick, if you don't mind me saying so myself. Big shout out to you, Wilco. He's not with us tonight, but he's down there at the Walker Hall Restaurant and Bar down there and in Carrum Downs. So congratulations, Wilco. Very special night for you, and we are thinking of you. He got banned. He wasn't safe enough. He was unsafing, if you know what I'm trying to say, Prince. Not quite safe enough to earn that title of safety car in big, bold, capital letters.
Yeah, it was more of the unsafe safety car. You know, what's that? And I forgot what it's called, but it's like the anti-safe safety car club. I don't know. I've made that up now, Trev.
The anti-social, something
yeah,
like
that one, but I tried to make it like the safety car thing. You know, I tried anyway.
You certainly...
I get a participation.
That's all we can hope for, Prince. And I tell you what, Prince, I've got to say that at least your calendar goes straight from March 31st to April the 2nd, because no one fools Chuck Norris, that's for sure. But 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left in the session. I hear the safety car driver is a nice bloke, unlike Jason Wilkinson, says Beaky. Beaky getting the points on Wilco early because he's not here to defend himself, Prince. A little bit sneaky there from Beakster.
Yeah, Beaky doesn't seem like he's here to fornicate with spiders. He's out here to get Wilco, which is a great tradition actually. I feel like more people in the chat need to kind of get at Wilco.
Shots have been fired, says Beaky, as we take a look. Who is on a quick lap here? Because 3 and a bit minutes to go. Will Star still sitting at the top. He's a very good qualifier, this man. Side-or, can't quite match him there. He's nearly 2/10 further back. Clocane's in the pits. Mint Matt, we saw him starting a hot lap. And like I said, Hainsey is having a moment there at the chase, I believe. He's on the grass. And he's just trying to stay out of the way as he gets back onto the circuit. I think he's going to live to fight another day, Chuck. And he might start another lap if he doesn't come in the pits. Indeed, he's doing that. So what do you reckon, Prince? Roughly one lap, one more hot lap, given where they are on the circuit, maybe two.
Yeah, exactly. So depending on where they are on the circuit, they might only get one more lap. If they're lucky, they'll be able to squeeze in one more. But if they invalidate it, obviously there'll be no more after that. So a couple of drivers opting to go into the pit lane early and, kind of get their preparations underway for the race. So you got Will Star and Cloakade as well as Zest One. Further down the order, you got Vibesy as well as Urban Ghost as well, opting to just park the garage, or park the car in the garage, I should say, and wait until the race preparations kick on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got to keep reading this chat. We saw the ratings come out through the course of the week, and I think I got 99 in commentary, 99 for the voice, but only 95 reading the chat, Prince. So there is a margin for improvement there, isn't there? And speaking of which, shots being fired between Beaky and Wilco. Wilco has fired some shots back, saying shots fired from Karingal, nothing new. And those two getting amongst it in the chat. Now, if you're just joining us, Chuck Norris, not only do we have Chuck Norris with us and 15 beautiful people on the stream, we have a full formation lap as we're riding with Hainsey at the moment, and a 60-minute race, Prince, all in preparation for the big one. Please remind the gorgeous people what is coming up on March the 1st.
So on March the 1st, I believe we've got the qualifying night for the big race, the Bathurst 8-hour. I believe it's going to be the biggest and longest race that we've hosted in the Oz New Zealand PS5 Endurance Series so far. So we had a great series last year, plenty of great moments all the way through. So, going that extra step forward, Trev, doing a little bit of a longer race. I know the drivers wanted 12 hours, but us, we go a little bit loopy after 6. So March the 1st, though, we'll have the qualifying night. We've got GT3s as well as GT4s taking place on the grid, and then there'll be a top 10 shootout as well. So you're definitely not going to want to miss out on that on March the 1st. And then I believe we're running the race on a Saturday for this Bathurst 8-hour. So that'll be held on March the 2nd. It's going to be the big race, the 8-hour. It's going to be good, Trev. I'm looking forward to it. But tonight, though, GT3s. Tomorrow night, we've also got GT4s.
Oh, Matt having a moment there, Chuck. Ooh. And he's grazed the sides of that beautiful Lotus-looking Porker, the number 8 there. And he is done, I reckon, for qualifying. He's... who else is on a lap here? We might look at Norm. No, I think he's starting one. Sofa King, we'll keep an eye on this. And Wilco saying if you're in Benalla, you have to load your slingshot with rocks. And then lucky if he's got a slingshot, says Beaky. No, even cannons aren't designed in Benalla. Sticks and stones against the Benalla T-Rex. And boy, just the Benalla jokes there. He's up and about, isn't he? Likes a good Benalla joke about how we're in 1886 and we've just got, that Mercedes, the first ever Mercedes, that one you sit up and it's sort of got a little engine in it and you toot toot as you go along. But the hamster, you know the one, you got to start it up, the crankshaft in there. The hamster is running overtime to give him internet. Bit salty there, Trev. Oh, look at you go. And of course, if you're just joining us, the man who was in the safety car last week is dining out. I forget what the name of the place was. I think it was the Pig and Whistle. He's dining out at, it sounds like a good British pub. Good name for a British pub, that one, down there in Carrum Downs. But Sofa King...
I got fastest lap too.
Oh.
Oh, look at you go.
No, he's down at Hawk. He tells me not to say anything on the stream, and then he's just gone and listed where he is in South. Oh, I'm in South Yarra. Thank you, Wilco. At the posh end of town there. Riggsy, mega save from Matt. Probably gave it 50 millimetres rear toe in with that tap. I wouldn't be surprised because he wasn't mucking around. Who else have we got out on the track? I think that might be it. Chuck Norris. Anyone else?
There's one coming into Murray's corner. I can't quite see the number of the car, but they're just about to come over the start finish line here.
We can hear them. You can hear them, but you can't see them. And there we have it. You said Walker Hall before, so you may as well have said where I was. Runner Hall is better, faster service. And Chuck Norris getting, that's Wilco actually in the chat. We've got Chuck with us here, but that is the end of qualifying. Enough of my ramblings, because Will Star, he set that time midway through that session, Prince, and nobody able to catch him. Quickest in sectors 2 and 3. Sofa with a 38.390 there, but well, that is the grid done and dusted, and it sets us up for 60 minutes of spicy action here at Mount Panorama tonight. And Wilco Sabiki just seems to be more fun Trev bashing the new mate. They're actually getting together here, of course, Prince, and ganging up on myself. But we are done and dusted here in qualifying. How did you see that, Nigerian Prince? You've done a few laps around this joint. Any surprises there on that grid, looking at the top 10?
I think it's definitely interesting. We've got another Mercedes on pole position here. So I think it was Kilroy, I believe, last week who managed to throw it onto pole position in the Merc. But tonight we've got Willstar. So the Merc seeming to be that standover car here. But BOP, I've got to admit, is definitely doing well. So, you know, that's definitely one thing that we've got going for the grid is even BOP, cars are evenly matched. It's just your driver skill level. Oh, Trev, you got a trophy, better with friends. Let's go.
Well, that's for sure. I tell you what, I think I've done 122 hours on this game, and I haven't actually driven on the game yet, so that's interesting. Ripper time would have been pole last week, says Jason Wilkinson. And Nismo, the boss! Everybody please get your house in order because the boss is with us. Nismo and Nath, of course, the boss of Hooncorp Esports. Good to give them a shout out. He's got his popcorn, which means one thing, Chuck Norris. He's ready to go for tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely be sure to reach under your seat, grab them snacks, drinks, all that kind of good stuff, and strap in or strap on for this good one. It's Trackalicious. What a name. Comes in with a follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community.
Didn't even need to say, click that follow button, because guess what? He followed. Bit of Bathy IC. He says, hello to the ACC people. Teammate Mac is looking strong, Wilco. Trackalicious, let us know where you're tuning in from. You are up early. I'm guessing he is from the Netherlands, but please let us know if you are the Flying Dutchman 2.0. Because can I go back to the garage, Prince, or do I have to wait for the formation lap? I'm not really sure what's going on, but what we might do, now that Trackalicious, let me just click my handy little follower thing here. 295, ladies and gentlemen, we are up to 5 more to go. If you're out there, it's gone off now, Prince, with Trackalicious joining the family. We've got to... Yes! Hainsey has joined us. Hainsey07. I think you might be out there on the grid. 296, Chuck Norris. When it goes green, you can return to the garage. Thank you for that, Wilco. And, okay, I wasn't totally embarrassed. And Hainsey's joined us. They're coming from everywhere, Chuck.
Yeah, everyone's coming from far and wide, whether it's... people used to call Bathurst, or I've gotten to know people calling Bathurst as Bratwurst. So whether you're coming here for Bratwurst, Bathurst, or you're coming here for the shenanigans, we greatly appreciate everybody coming from far and wide to join the community.
Certainly is. Beaky says, the more 300 before the night is done. I'm just thinking the more I get Beaky bashed, the more followers we get as we see the drivers slowly pull away from the grid. And that man on pole position, Will Star, along with Sidorg and Clocade behind him. I think I think once it goes green, you can return to the
Yeah,
garage.
once it goes green, you should be able to.
Get in my sack! Get in it!
Get in it! And thank you. That's
Get in, boy, sack!
and that
Get
is.
in!
I tell you what, that's you were. Was that after you won the race dressed as Santa Claus, or was that?
Yeah, it was when I won a race at Spa, the old Spa Francorchamps, when I was dressed as Santa in the lead up to Christmas. I managed to bag her in, and yeah, my celebration was a little bit different.
And it certainly was, and that is the voice, of course, of Chuck Norris. I heard that Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience, but managed to live to tell the tale. Boys, what's going on? Rain of Fire joining us. What was the pole lap time? What was it, Prince? A 201.065, I think, from
Yeah,
memory?
spot on, Trev.
Yep.
Spot on.
And boy, you can jump in my sack anytime. I think we said strap in, strap on, get it. No, we'll leave that there. But, what's going on? Cloakade not in the McLaren. That's very interesting. I know Trackalicious from the great 6-hour series on PC. Great to have Trackalicious along for the ride, along with the great man Hainsey. I think I follow him on Twitter as well, but he'll be used to hearing my voice. Wicked, I would like to be able to do that when I grow up at 201.065, and the chat is we are getting amongst it. Legend says, Trackalicious, thank you. It's week 2 of our lead up to the Bathurst 8 hours on March the 2nd. We've been flogging it like a dead horse, and let me tell you, it's going to be absolutely magnificent. And I think we're starting here at roughly 6:04 a.m. In fact, exactly on 6:04 a.m. Track time, Prince. So a little bit challenging, I think, as the sun comes up here tonight around Mount Panorama. Going to make it interesting in the opening laps.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. I believe it's at the Cutting and Skyline. They're definitely going to be 2 interesting corners as the sun comes up. But I do see Trackalicious asking, where can you register? And do I have news for you? If you use !endurance, you will have a link to the Oz New Zealand PS5 Endurance Series, and you can jump into that Discord. All the information is all in there. If you want to get involved in KRL, which is our alternate series that we run outside of the Oz New Zealand PS5 Endurance Series, !Discord, and that will give you a Discord link to that.
Unbelievable. Get amongst it. Full chat. Chat full of legends. Trevor even let Jason Wilkinson in, and only done 700 kilometres today, Rain of Fire. That's a massive effort. And sorry, boys, your enduro link is broken, says Riggsy.
Let me get that fixed.
Well, Chuck Norris all over that. And just sit tight, Trackalicious, as we continue this warm-up lap. Glasso, another man who I was running off the track in my Mazda MX-5 last night. And Wilco amongst it, gifting the Tier 1 sub to Beaky 28 down there in Coringal. And thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Could not jump in at a better time. Riggsy getting amongst it, Rain of Fire. Says Glasso, hello to you, Glasso. And this is the calm before the storm, isn't it, Nigerian Prince? Because we're almost ready to go racing. 26 drivers, or 28 I should say, roughly, I think, with us tonight. And boy, we're about to kick off here, Prince.
Yeah, exactly. We're about to go green, Trav, so I don't want to take away the starts from you because I know you're better at them than me, so I'll leave this one to you.
Well, I think it's about time I stood up as we get ready to go racing. You know I live for this stuff. We know you do as well. Let's get this underway. Green lights mean go, go, go here, ladies and gentlemen. And we are ready to go. The Mario Kart lights from Spawn are a little bit delayed there. And Sofa King having a moment. Someone awesome off as well. And there is carnage at turn 1. And, of course, there is no safety car tonight. And Nick's involved in that as well as they stream down the mountain straight for the first time, heading towards Griffin's Bend. Climbing the mountain here on lap 1. Willstar is down to 3rd. Not a great start for him. Sidorg takes the lead.
God.
Yes! And it's all happening. Rain of Fire. That is a massive pile up down the field. What was that? Absolute carnage there. And everybody in the chat getting amongst it here. 59 minutes, we're on lap 1 here at Bathurst, but it looked like it was getting busy off the line, Chuck.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that, but yeah, it was a bit of a car park there. I can't remember whether T1's called Hell Corner or not, but I know there is one corner called Hell Corner here, so T1 is now the new Hell Corner, because yeah, the shenanigans were quite spectacular there on the opening lap, so yeah, unfortunate to see a lot of drivers getting caught up in that nonetheless, and hopefully they can get the car repaired and keep circulating, because there is a lot of time on this track. But Trev, I do see Shawnee Fuller's got a drive-through, so unfortunately probably for speeding in pit lane.
As we take a look now at the rest of the field streaming across the mountain here on lap 1. 1 hour race, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Mandatory pit stop as well. 1 mandatory pit stop for tyres. No safety car. And I believe that if roughly three or more cars are involved, Prince, that could have triggered a safety car. But we are not running safety cars tonight. But I'll tell you what, as we come through to complete lap 1, heading towards Murray's Corner here, ladies and gentlemen, Sidorg leads from Mintmat. And the two GT7 boys go back a long way. And Simon Bishop there leading this race into lap 2, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you with us. And if there's somebody you don't want breathing down your neck here at Mount Panorama, it's the 2015 GT Academy champion, that's for sure. But Willstar not out of this by any stretch, as we see Shawnee Fuller with a drive-through penalty. Chuck Norris, is he going to serve that straight away? We shall see, and we can't quite get... No, he's continuing on, Prince. So he's not serving that lap, that drive-through penalty on this lap, so I think he's got a couple of laps to serve it.
Yeah, so when you get a in-game penalty, obviously this isn't served by any stewards or anything like that, but when you get an in-game penalty, you typically have about 3 laps, or its maximum is 3 laps that you have to come into pit lane and serve that penalty. But if he came out of pit lane and got the drive-through there, then he might only have 2 laps, so he's got to be very careful here. He's got to come in, make sure he gets it done early, because, you know, sometimes you go over the line and it will be like, you know, final lap to come in and serve the penalty. Other times it will just disqualify you. So sometimes getting it over and done with early is always the best case scenario.
And better to get it out of the way. Are you Xbox or PC, says Rain of Fire. Trackalicious, he's a PC man. He's got to get right on it. He needs a PS5, Prince. So do you as well, so maybe we can do a whip around and get a PS5 for Chuck Norris, and also Trackalicious as well. Keen to see how vibesy goes in the Beamer, says Rain of Fire. Where is he? He's in the top 10. Let's take a look at your man. He's got Sofa King for company. Sofa King right up behind him here as we head towards the chase. Turn 21, turn 22. And these leagues are better, says Glasso, than any PC league. Plus, we have the GOAT. Kid Byers calling our races. And the one and only Chuck Norris didn't quite manage to... it wasn't quite the effect I was looking for, Chuck. But when are we getting ACC crossplay to PC? I'm sure that's on the cards, but talk about a shit show at turn 1. It was all over the place. And who was come out of that? I think Mac Miller was part of that. Water Arrow into the pits. I think we've lost a couple here, Chuck, have we? Someone awesome. Carpet Snake is back onto the track. Exo in the pits along with Ranger Oz, who is crawling around the circuit. And something is going on here. He's coming to a stop. Wait for it, wait for it. He's going to head back and teleport back into the pits along with Jimbo. So plenty of victims there after the opening lap. Carnage. It is called Hell's Corner for a reason, Prince, and boy, it lived up to its name on the opening lap.
Yeah, it definitely did. You know, T1 is always a tricky one to navigate. You know, depending on how good your start is around Bathurst, T1 sometimes can be 3 wide when, you know, typically 2 wide is the max you want to be. So, yeah, very unfortunate, but yeah, that would have definitely triggered a safety car if we had safety car enabled for tonight.
And Riggsy saying, PC, peesh me. Thank you, Riggsy. Better be careful what I say here, because the man alongside me is an ACC PC man. And apparently, Prince, we're hearing that the people, your people out there, are going to donate to Chuck Norris getting a PS5. Glasso wanting to start a GoFundMe page, starting a poll. Who wants to donate towards Nigerian Prince's PS5? Bloody hell, says Jimbo. He's been in the wars, I reckon, Jimbo. Because when he jumps on Prince and says that, leaves a comment, bloody hell, or something like that, you know that he's been in trouble. But Mint Matt is very, very close here to the lead with Sidorg and Willstar, who lost the lead off the line. But he's 1, 2, 3 all together, a little bit further back to Norm and Clocade, of course. Rigsy willing to donate. The people want you to have a PS5, Chuck.
Yeah, I'm sure the people would love me to have a PS5, but I'm a PC gremlin, or I'm on the PC master race these days. But if you're wanting to donate towards me getting a PS5, I would actually prefer you to hold on to that, because we run August charity months, so you can use that money and it can go to mental health and suicide prevention. So save the money, people. Use it for charity in August.
Not sure whether I can stop them though, Chuck. There is a large amount of momentum. The hype train is getting bigger and bigger. The noise coming from the people. They want you to have a PS5. I said a PS, never mentioned a PS5. I'm sure I have an old PS1 laying around here somewhere. Beaky getting amongst it. Jimbo did a Chaz Mostert. But what about this battle, says, who is he? Wilco. Boy, out of sight, out of mind, Chuck. But my advice would be to listen to the people. And I've got to say that Chuck Norris is the sort of bloke. He's the sort of bloke that could strangle you with a cordless phone. That's how dangerous he is. So I'd get onto that GoFundMe page, quick smart. But this battle continues, lap 3, and you could throw a handkerchief over all 3 of these people coming down Conrod Straight. They are closer than. Ooh, look at that! You could put. Oh, you could just nothing between this lot at the moment, Prince. I say it every week, but where do we look here? Because Simon Bishop just ahead of Mint Matt and Willstar. It's all happening.
Yeah, so it's interesting because the Porker struggles. If you say comparing top speed, pace, and stuff like that, the Merc definitely has it. But it's just a matter of whether Willstar can manage to navigate his way past Matt and Sidorg, because those guys have got some pace at the moment, as we see Jimbo with a stop-go 30, and he's parked on the way up to the cutting. So that's not good. I got a feeling we're going to see a teleport back to pit lane, Trev.
Yep, he's teleported. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to the on-track action as Rain of Fire comes in, and he says, "Oh, salty Wilco voice, I'm a PC master race. Look at you go." And smooth operator there, Chuck. Perfect plug there, says Glasso. Love you, mate, Rain of Fire. Get the stats up on your phone. Beaky wanting to know, is Chuck a multiple champion like the GOAT Jason Wilkinson? And we're getting the stats up here at the moment. Simon is 94 overall, Matt 93. There's not much between them in the Ultimate Team stats, and there's not much between them on track either, Chuck.
Yeah, absolutely nothing between them. And, I got to admit, Trev, Andrelli, every single time he does something, he just steps up. And, it's hard to keep up with everything that he puts together. But I got to admit, Trev, he does a stellar job at everything that he does.
Certainly does. And, well, I think I feel a song coming on. That's right, Wheezy making another appearance. Well, there's going to be people out there saying there's more than 3 cars in this race, and we're going to indeed look at those, the rest of them at the moment, because naughty Norman Price, he's just behind this battle. Then Clocade not far behind him. Zest 1 is P6, and the Metal Steel Man, the number 1 Ferrari, and not quite a gold Ferrari, but he's in P7. P8 for Sofa King. Vibesy in the only Beamer in the field, I think, Chuck. And there we have it. So Vibesy inside the top 10. Urban Ghost. Hainsey, the man who I believe is our latest follower. Hainsey 07. No relation, or I think he is the same person, I believe. Saint Sim in 12th. And Matt is now leading. We're hearing reports of Matt leading this race. Nigerian Prince, he is in fact leading this race, but Simon wants to have a crack down the inside of Griffin's Bend, and he's done it. And now Willstar wants to dip his bread in it. If you know what I'm...
Possums!
Hello, possums! Because Sidehawk's in the wall along with Matt. And they're grazing the wall, and now Matt is going to pay the price here, Chuck.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate there. I saw the tail end of that one as well as the cameraman was trying to catch up, but yeah, they were nice too wide, and Will Starr tried to capitalise
These guys
as well
are impossible to race with. They cannot do the stance deviation. You cannot go into the corners crashing with all the
going
cars.
into 3 and 4, that outside line, unfortunately, I don't know, it just seems to drag you into the fence. So, Matt opted to take the escape road as well. So, it looks like you might have quite a bit of damage here, Trev.
Well, I reckon Matt's in some trouble. They're not teammates anymore. So, we could see this in the 8 hours, says Jason Wilkinson. I reckon Simon's got some damage as well, Chuck. So, Willstar, in fact, has inherited the lead. I think Willstar got out of that, I should say, pretty cleanly, as we see him come down Conrod Straight. So the man who started in pole position is back in P1, but still a long way to go here. 48 minutes remaining in this race in the build-up to the big one on March the 2nd. Hammer, there was a close battle near Hammer going on, and we shall bid farewell to the Nigerian Prince as he's off to get his chicken tenders. 2 GRT boys, Will and Norm, are also on the charge. Don't forget about them. Will and Norm. It looks like Sidehawk is in the pits. What's Matt going to do? He's continuing on there. He's under pressure from Norman, of course, though. We might recap. We have seen quite a bit of action in the last few corners, ladies and gentlemen. And Willstar leads this race on lap 6 here at Mount Panorama. 23 corners of one of the most famous circuits on the calendar. Opened in 1938. 6.21 kilometres, top speed of 300 plus, and 962 metres above sea level. And I'm sure now you know that you'll be able to sleep tonight. But lap 6, Willstar leads. Matt in second. He's got some damage though, I reckon, as he gets close to that wall again, coming over the top of Skyline there, through Skyline. The S's, the Dipper, all great corners on a great circuit here. And Clocaine, Hainsey goes. That T1 was definitely something. And no doubt about that whatsoever, of course. No safety cars here, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. If you're just joining us, Clocaine all over the back of naughty Norman Price. And Zest not too far behind them as well. Metal Steel, Sofa King still holding down P7. And then it's Vimesy in the Soul BMW. Doing very nicely there indeed. He's up into 8th. Urban Ghost 9th. And then it's Saint Sim in 10th there, rounding out your top 10. Sideways Polka, what's he doing? He's just holding down P11. Vert Wheeler as well. And has something happened to the audio. And he can't hear anything. And that is Raggy, our man. And let us know, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me. Because the Nigerian Prince, you won't be able to hear him because he has gone off to check on his chicken tenders, which he's got in the air fryer. But Vert Wheeler and Shawnee Fuller are having a fantastic battle. All good here, says Rain of Fire. And that is the great man, Waggy, who is joining us tonight. He joined us for the big race at Kyalami a few weeks ago. And it seems as though his ears are not working. That is terrible stuff for Waggy, but joining us all the way from the UK. We won't mention the cricket, of course. Maybe reset Twitch. Control Alt Delete, Raggy. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? You know the old saying. But Trackalicious, folks, I'm being summoned away. He says, great commentary and great racing. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Thank you, Trackalicious. The car sounds are a bit quiet, but doesn't need to be too loud. We can up those car sounds. And Vert Wheeler's off. He's gone off at Hell's Corner there. He was having a good battle with Shawnee Fuller, but now that's he's picked up some damage there in the Bentley, and that's going to affect him for the next 44 minutes. Trackalicious, great to have you with us. We're sorry you had to be summoned away, but the commentary, he's loving it, and he says, great racing, good luck for the rest of the stream. Wilco saying the car sounds are a bit quiet, doesn't need to be too loud. Hopefully those car noises aren't too loud. Hopefully you can hear me okay. as we continue the race here now. 44 minutes to go. We are on lap 7 of this one in the massive build-up as it continues for the Bathurst 8 hours, of course. 5:05 games. Yes! And 5:05 games now are following the channel. And Chuck Norris, if you can get back to us, have you got us there, Chuck Norris? Because 5:05 games, I believe that's Waggy, the main man at ACC. He is a massive hit down at the Cracker Factory, of course, because he's on the official account now and it works fine. He's saying that the personal account of the great man is not, doesn't seem to be working, Chuck.
Yeah, so maybe your personal account, Raggy, is being summoned to the Shadow Realm for a bit of disciplinary action. But it's good to see that the official account, the 505 Games one, does work, and we greatly appreciate the follow as well. But I heard some shenanigans, Trev. You know, I know you've done a recap for everybody else, but would you please be able to do me a quick recap and just kind of bring me back up to speed for what I missed after I was just quickly grabbing food?
Well, would you like me to sing it to you, or now it's working? Says Raggy. Well, Will Star got pole position, then he lost the lead off the line. Then we saw a good battle between Mint, Matt, Sidorg, and Will Star. Then they got some damage, and well, Rain of Fire, official ACC commentator, says Rain of Fire. I tell you what, everybody who's followed this channel, do you reckon they're getting sick of me? Well, that's too bad, because you're going to be hearing plenty more of me in the next 42 minutes. Will Star leads. What kind of singing voice was that? I tell you what, Kenny Rogers would be turning in his grave. The only problem with that, though, Prince, he's still very much alive. And how good is that? The gambler, know when to fold 'em when you're sitting at the table. And let's have a look. Matt, who's continuing on here, Chuck Norris. I wish you could come and save me, Chuck, because the race continues. I'm digressing, but let's focus on the track with just a tick under 42 minutes to go now. And we have got an intense battle continuing here in front of our eyes.
Yeah, this looks like a very intense battle, and it's unfortunate that Sidorg couldn't be a part of this. And, you know, Matt, you know, pushing on with whatever damage he might have from saying hello to the concrete barrier earlier on where Sidorg was involved as well. But Norm, though, Trev, Norm is clawing onto the back of this battle, and not too far in the back of the shot as well. We've got Cloquet, so this is all getting spicy now, isn't it?
It certainly is getting spicy.
A song coming on!
As Wheezy!
I thought that was actually you for a minute. I was like, yo.
I think I feel a song coming on! And Wheezy, we had everybody last week, didn't we? We had Frank Spencer. Ooh, my cat done a whoopsie, Betty. And 41 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen, because look at this. Let's recap if you're just joining us. And boy, oh boy, the official 505 Games account, Chuck Norris. How do you want to say you've made it in the ACC world without saying you've made it in the ACC world? We won't get too far ahead of ourselves, Prince, because we don't want to do that. But Will Star leads the race, 2.2 now, back to Matthew Simmons, the 2015 GT Academy champion. And his charismatic French bulldog named Hank will be watching this because I can tell you now that Hank, he just misses his dad when he travels around the world, of course, to do his work for Nissan. But you can see there he's still holding down second place despite that incident with his good mate Simon Bishop. Naughty Norman Price is crawling all over the back of him at the moment, but Matt's just managing to keep him at bay for the time being at least. Then it's Cloquet. We've got Ferrari. Metal Steel has crept up to 5th position as we see Hainsey pull alongside to let him go on Conrod Straight. But Metal Steel doing very nicely. We haven't called his name too much, Prince, but he's doing very nicely inside the top 5 here this evening.
Yeah, Metal's still having a great run here. So the Ferrari, I don't quite know how the Ferrari stacks up around here because I haven't driven the Ferrari around Bathurst before. But Metal Steel, though, looks like he's doing really good as he's got one of our new drivers. I apologise, I can't quite read the name correctly. Hainsey. Sorry, my bad. Hainsey not too far behind, keeping up in the McLaren, and not too far behind that as well is Sofa King. So I assume Hainesy's going to be the nice guy. Yeah, just as I was about to say it, Trev, Hainesy does the nice guy and lets Sofa King go through.
Well, he's doing a bit better than Waterproof, who is in the Water Arrow. Waterproof. It wasn't very waterproof on that occasion. He's in the pits. Hammer is also at the back of the field. We've got 20-something drivers. I think we had 27, Chuck Norris.
It's a box.
Oh, that's reminded me. Thank you, Glasso. When do we see the drivers coming in for their pit stops here, Chuck? We're roughly not quite at half race distance at the moment, but you're a man who has done plenty of racing around here. When would you be thinking about pit stops and the way of strategy here tonight?
So, assuming there is no, pit window or any restrictions on that, which I didn't read earlier, I assume a majority of these drivers might be running their fuel in a 50-50 case, where they'll run half of their fuel percentage to get them through half the race, and then they'll box approximately halfway through, and then take another half to proceed through the rest of the race. Because typically a lighter car is a faster car, so I'm interested to see what some of these strategies are. Obviously, a lot of them got thrown out the window with the lap 1 shenanigans in turn 1 at Hell's Corner, but nonetheless, though, some of these strategies we might see starting to come into play now, as I see Sideways Polka in pit lane, and I think somebody else just came out of it, so we'll have to keep an eye on it.
I tell you what, we also need to keep an eye on. Sofa King is less than a second behind Metal Steel here, and got to keep an eye on that follow count too, Chuck. 297, if you don't mind. We've got Nismo the boss. He says quality content, and there we have it. Raggy as well, or Waggy, I should say, joining us. And that is absolutely fantastic. He couldn't hear us at the beginning, Chuck, but then he jumped on the official 505 Games Twitch account and followed us. You were right with Raggy. There we go. I think we've had this discussion before, Raggy, but can I just say the W is silent. Thank you for that, Raggy. And how good is Assetto Corsa? How good is Assetto Corsa, Chuck? Why would you be wanting to chuck GT7 on when you've got such a brilliant game here in Assetto Corsa?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's a lot of good takeaways from ACC, and with the upcoming DLC releasing I know it releases on PC, I believe, early next week. The GT2s, as well as Nordschleife coming sometime this year as well. It's growing as a platform, it's growing as a great simulator, and I look forward to seeing it grow over the year, because I believe at the end of this year we get AC2, so a new project that they've been working on. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, Trev. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on those GT2s.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. You know what I'm going to do, Prince? I'm going to keep my ACC PS5 disc in my PlayStation. I'm going to arc weld it inside my console and never ever remove it again, Raggy. And I got it, the W silent, of course, just like Scooby-Doo says, Glasso. And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you rotten kids. You know how they are. It's always the bad guy. It's always the one you least suspect, wasn't it, Prince on Scooby-Doo? Thank you for that, Shaggy. As Glasso, very keen for Nords, as Chuck Norris having a good old chuckle at that one. Shawnee Fuller, half a second behind St. Sim. No, he's got that move done, up to P8 now. Excuse my language there, Chuck, because he's got the move done.
Yeah, so I think off memory the timings kind of take a little while to update, so it's definitely happened over the course of this lap, this move being made, but I wish we kind of got to get a sneak peek into it, because Saint Sim is clawing on, is trying to hold on to Shawnee Fuller here, and they're in equal machinery, even BOP and stuff like that, so it's good to see these guys progress. Even though they're fighting for a top 10, it's still a good top 10.
It certainly is, and you can see there, nobody inside the top 10 except Clocade has made his stop, so he's going to be in a very, very good position during the second half of this race. The time is counting down, and if you're new to Assetto Corsa, welcome to you. If you're new to the channel, great to have you along on a Thursday night. Thursday morning, Wednesday night, depending where you are in the world. And we've got people tuning in from the Netherlands, Holland, which are the same place, the USA, of course, and England over there in the glorious UK. I'm sure it's nice and sunny over there, Raggy, and about 8 degrees or minus 8 degrees. But let us know if you're new to this stream, if you're new to the channel, hello to you. Thank you for joining the family. And let us know where you're tuning in from, because our voices are travelling. We've gone global here, Chuck. We've gone viral, worldwide. Mr. Worldwide, in fact. We're right across the globe now here on ACC.
Yeah, it's funny you said Mr. Worldwide, because that's kind of what came to my head almost as you were saying that, was that Step Brothers scene where they're in like the wedding and they're like, Mr. Worldwide, you know, when it's like the boat and stuff like that. Yeah, so...
Yes, two great minds think alike. He says, my pleasure. And Glasso saying Pitbull, Kit Me actually. Yeah, Kit Byers is the Pitbull of ACC. Thank you for that, Mr. Worldwide. Exactly what I was thinking, Voodoo. Great stuff there from Rain of Fire. Raggy is doing an absolutely magnificent job there. My pleasure. I absolutely love it. We love having you along for the coverage. It must be early over there in the UK. But it's always a pleasure. Just hit 9 p.m. Eastern time here on the Eastern Seaboard in Australia. And I am commentating. We'll say I'm from Melbourne, because that's probably easier, I think, Chuck. A little bit northeast of Melbourne. But anyway, close enough. As F1 Sniper, a bit late joining the stream. Hope your shoulders and hips aren't too sore today, Trev. And that's a bit of an inside joke there, ladies and gentlemen, because myself and Sniper had a good old battle on the original Assetto Corsa, which I've got to say, Chuck, and still holds up pretty well today, Raggy, who's done a magnificent job on both games there. The crew down at 505 Games, absolutely magnificent. We would love a retweet or something, but we can't say that too, Chuck. We've got to let it happen organically, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. The organic feeling from it is definitely, you know, a bigger deal from it, I think. But, you know, we've had the privilege, Trev, 505 Games do love to do a bit of a cheeky retweet on our posts, as well as everybody else. But I feel like we're extra special just because.
Well, I was going to say, try and get a retweet without saying you want a retweet. But I went and said I wanted a retweet before saying I didn't want to say I wanted a retweet. But anyway, guess what? Stop everything, because Exorcist, the great man 666, subscribing at a tier 1 level, and he's been subscribed for 3 months, Chuck Norris. Absolutely fantastic stuff, and he's in his first trimester here at the moment. So 6 months left until the baby's due for Exo.
Yeah, not long to go now. We're kind of getting into that counting down stage. Are we going to do one of them? What do people do these days? They put like colours into a balloon and go, oh my god, what have I got? And then they do a pop. Are we going to do one of them?
We could do a Ralph Wiggum. I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. That's the spirit, never give up. And that's a really bad Homer Simpson impression there. But look at Sofa King right up behind. Well, he's not quite right up behind Metal Steel, but he's getting closer here, Prince, down Mountain Straight.
Sorry, I'm stuffing my food. But yeah, Sofa King doing really well. 8 tenths now away from Metal Steel.
I got fastest lap too.
Not far to go. Or is he going to go side by side up here?
Look at you go.
Hands in the position there. Doesn't really want to fight too much going over the top of the mountain, which is a brave move to make. Because, you know, having a car right behind you over the top is definitely scary.
Certainly is. Sorry to catch you there with a chicken tender. Catch you in the act with a chicken... Oh, and there's a car facing... We've got Urban Ghost and Shawnee Fuller in the pits, but there's a car. There's a car who stopped at the top of the hill. Is it Nick?
We're halfway through, not over yet.
We're halfway through the race, not over yet. And the race controllers let us know half the race gone and half still to go. Thank you for that, Murray, the late great Murray Walker there. The famous line, half the race gone, half still to go. And many famous Murrayisms over the years, of course. Mac Miller has a stop-go penalty there in his 99 McLaren. And Glasso wanting to know, he's asked Raggy straight out, Prince, if you don't mind, will this meeting give us news of any updates? We'll wait and see about that. I think we're going to wait and see Glasso redeeming the salty Wilco there, but Mac with a stop-go penalty, which he's serving at the moment. And Jimmy Payload, there's a name I haven't mentioned in the last few weeks, a man off GT7. He's not delivering too much of his payload there. He's currently sitting in the pits 13 laps down, Chuck.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Jimmy. We had the privilege of doing some commentary on GT7 a while ago, didn't we, Trev? And Jimmy was quick. He was really good on GT7. So, coming from GT7 to ACC is a whole different bag of fish, so to speak. And, I'm sure he's warming up to it. But unfortunately, Bathurst is Bathurst. And, the mountain will claim you whether you like it or not. And unfortunately, it claimed Jimmy's payload. So I think he's going to have to come back and maybe try and snatch it back.
Well, look at Willstar now leading. And Jimmy won't be delivering his payload because he's in the pits. Metal Steel in the pits as well from the top 5. Nick in the pits sideways. Ranger Oz, another GT7 name there along with Jimmy, who's 13 laps down in a 15-lap race. Only I could do that if I was behind the wheel. But 15 laps completed. Let's recap, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're just joining us, it is this man, Willstar, in the Mercedes-Benz. Only one of 2, I believe, in the field tonight, but he is leading this race. Matt, who picked up some damage after an earlier incident with Sidorg, who's down there in 10th at the moment. He's in second place. Norm is 4.2 seconds further back, along with Sofa in 4th there. And Metal Steel, Vibesy behind him, but he's well down the field, I should say. Sidorg now on the comeback trail here, Prince. Down in P9 as Shawnee Fuller into the pits. Oh,
sorry,
I had a chicken tender in my mouth and I couldn't answer you there. Sorry, kid. It looks really good here. Shawnee Fuller coming into the pits. And there we go. Sidorg now in P9. He's gained a position there with Shawnee Fuller coming into the pits. And I tell you what, Chuck Norris, being the only man to ever defeat a brick wall in a game of tennis, can you please explain to us what Sidorg will be thinking here at the moment? That's a soundbite, says Rain of Fire. He's going to clip that and turn it into a soundbite. Sidorg, is it a bridge too far, do you reckon, for Sidorg? Or what can he get out of tonight with 26 minutes remaining, Chuck, after that earlier incident?
Yeah, I feel like Sidorg's been doing very good. So that early incident where he was running with Matt and Willstar for the lead or the top 3, unfortunately making that mistake in T3 or 4, I believe it was, in the cutting, didn't quite help him, but he has been on a good comeback drive, only 4.4 seconds off Vibesy now. So as you can see, Vibesy in the picture just there, and he's secured himself into the top 10. But still a long way to go, Trev. 26 minutes. So I got a feeling Sidorg might be creeping a bit closer, but it's going to be a good battle come to the checkered flag.
Well, Sidorg, there's so much energy coming off this man. You can feel his enthusiasm, and I reckon you could use his belly button as a power outlet. That's how much energy this man omits. But he's just 3 seconds further back from Vibesy. And if you can understand what I'm trying to say, Prince, you're a better man than me. But Vibesy now in the BMW. There's a lot of Vibesy fans out there in the world of ACC, and this man is doing very nicely as well. Comfortably inside the top 8 there, and the only Beamer in the field. He's doing a very good job here with 25 to go on the clock.
Yeah, definitely have to agree there, Trev. Vibesy in the BMW and lone BMW. I don't know whether people were shying away because of the car or maybe the BOP, but nonetheless, though, Vibesy doing really good, holding a P3 in Pro-Am as well.
Absolutely doing very nicely there indeed. We have Chuck Norris alongside us here in the commentary box from South Australia. Don't forget to jump over to your channel, to his channel, I should say. V is for Voodoo Live. And you can send your bank account details, BSB and account number, to the Nigerian Prince. But don't send too many over, Chuck, because I'm closing in on that follower goal. Almost at 300. Let's just have a look here. Let me update the counter. We're almost at 300. 297, which is 3 less than 300, Prince. And please tell them out there if they've got a grandmother or a pet or someone that can follow the channel, create a fake account, whatever you need to do. We need 3 more, Chuck, and we're almost there.
Yeah, that's it. So I'll do the quick friendly reminder. If you're out there and if you've got a pet shark named Bruce, if you've got a cat named, I don't know what the cat might be named, but if you've got a cat, a dog, a shark, whatever pet you might have, or even if you haven't even followed the stream, please do consider hitting that follow button. Trev's on the road to 300, and you can be one of those lucky 3 to make it into that 300, but we saw Jimmy's payload in that fence where Matt and Psydog found themselves quite early on. Oh no! He looks like he's gone around again, Trev.
And is that Jimmy's payload being offloaded at the top of the hill? And I'm not too sure. Vert Wheeler now is very close. Like we said, if you've got a dog or a cat, grab your grab your cat and get them to follow, because consider my 3 demon children followers too. Rain of Fire says he's looking at running the Beamer in the Enduro League if anyone wants to join him. And Vibesy, what's happening with Vibesy? He's off. Has he made a blue there coming through turn 1, or has he come out of the pit lane and dropped it on the exit? I'm not sure what's happened there.
I think he made a mistake. All I saw was Vibesy kind of spin out towards the Liquid Molly sign, so I wonder whether he kind of dropped it on the exit curb of Hill Corner and unfortunately found himself spinning sideways. But Will Star though into pit lane, Sofa King and Vert Wheeler still to pit. And there's a couple of drivers a little bit further down the order, Trev, still yet to pit, but this sun is starting to come up.
It certainly is. And we've got 1 and 2 into the pit lane. The sun is coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. A man stayed up all night to see where the sun went, and then it finally dawned on him. But we've got 1 and 2 into the pits here at the moment. I think I've gone with that one in the past, but it's an all-time classic. Talk about dad jokes. You can tell that don't say you're turning 36 in March without saying you're going to turn 36 in March. Just mention one of my many dad jokes. But Matt has inherited the lead, I believe. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, which they've got a habit of doing. Chuck, he's back into the lead. Great effort despite a little bit of damage too on that car, we believe.
Yeah, he's been doing really well, so I wonder whether he might have been lucky and just didn't get the damage, or whether, he got a little bit rattled, because, when you make a mistake around Bathurst, it can easily throw you off. A lot of other tracks, in my opinion, you can kind of collect yourself and kind of push on. Where Bathurst, if you have a mistake over the top, you might be rattled for a few laps, or even just the rest of that lap until you can kind of catch your breath again. So, nonetheless though, Matt doing really good. I'm waiting for these timing standings, or the time standings, if I can English, to update here. Matt 7.8 seconds off Will Star now, Trev.
He certainly is, like you said, as Ziskar down there in P18 has a stop-go penalty, we believe. I'm not sure what that's for, but we'll wait and see. But let's have a look as Exo just jumping in and saying it finally dawned on him. Oh dear, OMG, he says. And then I replied back to Exo with that's a dad joke. I'm sorry, not sorry. And then Rain of Fire says don't apologise for the quality dad jokes. As we've got 20 minutes remaining in this race. Let's recap. Will Star leads, of course. Mitmat in second. Naughty Norman Price, the naughty red-headed school kid off of Fireman Sam. Ooh, Mrs. Lasagna. And he's in third place there. P4 for Sofa King. Metal Steel come in to the pits. Oh, Sidor getting very, very close indeed. And he's going to be applying that pressure very shortly here, Prince, because Sidorg is a man on a mission down Conrod Straight. I think he's not gonna waste too much time. He might be looking at a move here.
Yeah, if he's very brave, the Ferrari will start to open its legs a little bit further down Conrod as we get a little bit down towards the chase. And Sidorg though, he's been a man on a mission. Might have made an early mistake with Matt, but he's been soldiering on and he's managed to not only make his way into the top 10, but he's almost making his way into the top 5, and he's having a great battle here with Metal Steel.
He certainly is, side by side as we approach turn 23 at Murray's Corner. You can't go through there, but he has! Well, you told him to open his legs up, Prince, and he's done it, and now he's through. And up into P4, but Metal Steel's he's gonna go down the inside. That's always risky there through Hell's Corner. And believe me, we've seen enough carnage through turn 1 here this evening, but now they're going side by side once again down Mountain Straight. And Sidehawk's got his nose in front. I think he's got the job done here. But I've said that before and I've been mistaken because Metal Steel is not giving an inch here at the moment. Great racing action here. All in readiness for the Bathurst 8 Hours on March the 2nd. But they're not worried about that, Prince. They're worried about P4 out here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, this is great race preparation for the big one in a few weeks' time. And, I've got to admit, Trev, that was great racing through Murray's Corner, going too wide, continuing too wide through Hell Corner. And, Trev, I thought they were going to go too wide a little bit further up the mountain into 2 as well. But, thankfully they managed to file out into single file. But Sidehawk now looking like he's stretching those legs. He's got about 5/10 on Metal Steel now. So we're back onto the battle here with Hainsey and Zest 1. This battle is brewing.
It's brewing very nicely here indeed, like a nice Chinese tea. Red Bull running Ford power units, of course, from 2026. That's going to be interesting, Rain of Fire. If I think it's the Sauber back in the day that ran the Red Bull Ford livery back in, if you Google the 1995 Sauber, you'll see that livery. I reckon it's going to be interesting to see how they go with the power units. Audi and Porsche coming in possibly as well. I think that's confirmed, isn't it, Chuck? Audi are coming in, I think, aren't they, in 2026 with the new regulations as well. So keen for that. But this battle is what we're keen for here at the moment. Just a big shout out, Chuck, to EXO subscribing at Tier 1 as well. 1995 was a good year. It certainly was, especially September the 26th. 1995, because that's when the great man Wilco come into the world down there. He's enjoying his evening though out there at the moment. September 19th, I was a week off, and anyway, I was close. He's going to give me hell for that a little bit later on as we see Hainsey coming down Conrod Straight. But yes, get a load of the followers tonight, Chuck. 505 Games, the official account, along with Hainsey, Trackalicious, Kurt Rocks, Born to Try. Great song, that one from Delta Goodrum. David Greco followed us 5 days ago. Is he the ex-Cody's vehicle development guy? Anyway, geez, he doesn't even know you, says Raid of Fire. And why am I named after Jason Dunstall? And the big Jason Dunstall, the Chief. Great goal kicker there, of course. What a player he was, the Chief, Jason Dunstall. Number 19 for Hawthorn. How many goals? 1,248 goals, is it, for the Chief, Wilco? Or 1,258 goals? No, 1,260. Something like that, but we're on lap 20 here at the moment. Will Star with a handy 8.8 second lead, but it only takes one mistake, and you definitely don't want to hatch your chickens before the eggs, that's for sure, because one mistake and it can all be over here, Chuck.
Yeah, 100%. You kind of encapsulated that pretty well. One smaller mistake around Mount Panorama, you quickly find yourself into those cement walls, and the cement walls, they do kind of hurt. They don't reach out and hug you, Trev. They reach out and kind of slap you silly a little bit and give you a few seconds of damage while they're at it. So yeah, Bathurst is a tricky one to tame, but those drivers that manage to tame the mountain definitely go on to win the races.
Yes, those concrete walls will come back and bite you. Just ask. No, I won't say that one. But 15 minutes left in this race, and apparently I don't even know Jason Wilkinson, the number 19 Chief, the Jason Dunstall, and Rain of Fire piping in as we look at our race leader now. He says, if I had a son, he would have been named Jonathan after the big 16 from the Mighty Lions, Jonathan Brown. Big Brownie, and Exo's got the Tiggies for the 24 Premiership. I reckon Collingwood might be up there as well. I won't say who I follow in the footy because we want to get to 300 before the night's finished. But who doesn't love a bit of Jonathan Brown? Chuck Norris has got absolutely no idea who I'm talking about, but if you don't know
Yeah,
Chuck,
that's very-
he sort of talks like this, you know, Brownie, yeah, I thought they played really well.
yeah.
You know, if you know John
yeah,
O'Brown,
exactly.
you know John O'Brown?
No.
He doesn't know Jonathan Brown, the big
I
number
don't follow
16.
football, sorry.
And Brisbane are building another dynasty. You just wait and see. And don't let that distract you from the fact, Rain, that Collingwood won a record-equaling 16th premiership back on September the 30th. And what a great day that was. And I actually woke up about a month or so later and sobered up around the same time. But Mint-Matt now doing very well for a man who I don't think he had quite as much damage, Chuck, as what we thought he had, because he's showed no real negative effects, has he, from that earlier incident?
Yeah, or if he did get damaged, he might have fixed it up, and it might not have been as much as kind of what we were anticipating. You know, it was a bit of a shun into the. Oh, I think he's checking the stream there, Trev, as he almost drives into the grass. But no, he's doing quite well. You know, whatever damage he got, he's either fixed it or he's bounced back quite well. But you know, 7.8 off Will Star. It's kind of hard to catch the Merc once they stretch their legs around here. But you know, Sidorg as well, 13.6 off Sofa King, and this battle between Zest 1 and Hainsey as well. This one's been brewing for a little while, Trev, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this closes in over this final 13 minutes.
Can't wait. 13 minutes remaining in this one. Lucky for some, Zest1 closing in. I think this is the closest battle on the circuit. Doing well for a man that had a concrete sandwich for dinner. And let us know what you're having for dinner, Wilco, out there at the Pig and Whistle in South Yarra. And I've forgotten the name of the place, but let us know where you're at and what you're having for dinner. The popcorn, chicken and spring rolls looked absolutely delightful, as Rain of Fire reminds me of our terrible strike rate in VFL AFL Grand Finals. And thank goodness I wasn't alive when we, at the Jogger Hall, there we go. And all Zest and Hainsey down the inside as we head to Hell Corner. That move is signed, sealed and delivered, Daniel Ricciardo style. I'm not asphyxiating or suffocating. That was meant to be Daniel Ricciardo, and that was meant to be Danny Rick there. But well, I thought he got that move done on Hainsey, but Hainsey had other ideas. Prince.
Yeah, he's definitely done well. Always hanging it around the outside. That doesn't typically work too well because of the marbles and all that kind of good stuff. But Zest manages to make his way through. I want to say this now, Trevor. What a Zest, that was close. But yeah, I just want to say, like, the T2 marbles, I don't think over the course of the 8 hour in early March are we going to see too many successful moves being done hanging around the outside there. So a lot of people, I think, are starting to learn and figure out that the inside into 2 is the way to go.
It certainly is. Apologies for the music there in the background. That wasn't meant to happen. But EXO piping in and saying Fremantle are talking up the premiership, which will never dock in Fremantle. And EXO, I've got a joke for you about Fremantle. What do Fremantle do when they win the AFL premiership? They turn off the PlayStation. And there we have it, Rain of Fire, giving us the real Ricciardo laugh. Leave the Danny Rick to me, please, says Wilco. He doesn't mean Danny Rick impression. Let me tell you, Hainsey getting amongst it there. I see you lurking. Please consider following the stream. If we don't get to 300, we might get to 3. We're back tomorrow night too, aren't we, Chuck? Still 10 minutes to go in this race, of course, but from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time, we'll be back with the GT4s, I believe, tomorrow here at Bathurst, giving Bathurst a good old run here before the big one, the 8 hours of Bathurst in the Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series coming up on March the 2nd. I think all of these boys are going to be a part of that. Princess EXO goes boom, boom, bang, bang. And that's in reference to my Fremantle joke, which was just some of my best work there, EXO. And that's what you get. You subscribe at a Tier 1, Prince. And that's exactly what EXO did. And that's why he subscribes at a Tier 1, to get those sort of jokes and content, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So while we're on that one, Trev, if you're out there, if you've got Amazon Prime, you can send Trev to the moon. How good is that? I mean, if I could send Trev to the moon with an Amazon Prime sub, I would send him 666, if you know what I mean. Anyway, if you're out there and you got an Amazon Prime sub, it's the best way to support Trev. And it's free, of course. You already pay for Amazon Prime, you might as well use your free Prime sub.
Yeah, certainly get amongst it. You heard the man. If you want to fly me to the moon and back, if you'll be my baby, but as long as it's not on Apollo 13 or the Challenger space, it's too soon. No, tough crowd, but yeah, don't send me on Apollo 13. In fact, don't send me anywhere that where Tom Hanks is, Chuck, because everywhere you go with Tom Hanks, it always ends badly for you. But Will Starr, as Rain of Fire piping up here, what's he saying in the chat? He's saying, might have to change it, Chuck, to the Prestige Worldwide Endurance Series if we get more internationals. So that's a good call. We're getting a few internationals amongst us here. As Aussie Racer 92 says, just checking in, give us a quick race update. I see my man in Port Nick a few laps down. Checking in now. He got, well, if you're just checking in now, Aussie Racer, we had some carnage, didn't we, Chuck, at turn 1?
So on the opening lap going into Hell Corner, or some people might know it as T1, we had a bit of a pile up. So there was quite a few of the grid unfortunately got caught up in that one, and you know the shenanigans kind of eased up a little bit after that. Obviously, some drivers have made some small mistakes and found themselves into the wall, or copped a little bit too much damage, maybe even a penalty or two. So yeah, a couple of interesting things happening, but definitely the most interesting one was the opening lap into T1. It was quite hectic actually. There was quite a few crashes, but we're getting a nice onboard straight through the driver's eyes here on board with Hainsey as he's kind of clawing away at Zest 1. So a little bit of auto correction, or not auto correction, that's typically what you find does, but a little bit of correction from the oversteer back in the cutting. And but this McLaren looks like a handful to drive around here.
Well, I've got to say, great insight. You can see the sun is in the eyes of Hainsey there as Zest is off the track. And my goodness, as soon as we ride on board with these boys, they start making mistakes. We call it the commentator's curse in the industry. But let me tell you, Zest 1 now is in some big trouble. But my goodness me, that was a save and a half, Chuck, over the top of the hill. Because I had my pants with my heart, and it was all in my mouth at the same time. And whilst we'll digress from things being in my mouth, down Conrod Straight and Zest 1. This battle is absolutely intense. St. Sim has managed to creep away further down the road. As you can see there, EXO, boats and hose. What's the saying, Chuck? If it flies, floats, or something else, you're better off renting it instead of buying it. I think that was from that Ballers show at one point. Aussie Racer, turn 1, lap 1, strikes again. Loving the onboards, can't wait to jump back in soon, says Aussie Racer. We've got 6 minutes remaining in this race. And boy, how good are these onboards here, ladies and gentlemen. Will Starr, how smooth is he? We'll get back to Will Starr. And where is Will Starr? Will Starr, come in over. Nick's in the pit lane down there. And where is Will Starr? There he is. We're jumping on board with Will Starr now. We're going to see how smooth he is, Chuck Norris, as he heads off to start another lap down Mountain Straight. And he's only got a couple of lap 26 of this race. You can see there, best lap of a 2:01.755, and he's cruising now towards a victory. We don't want to go too early, Chuck, but he's 9 seconds ahead of Mint Matt, and he's just going to keep it all pointing in the right direction to win here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to keep it pointing in the right direction, and I'm just going to do a quick lap or corner by corner thing here. So he's taking nice third, early fourth shift there, going into McPhillamy Park, or I think that's a little bit further down, but down through the grate, opting to go all the way to the barrier. You see that outside curb pop in. you kind of tip it in, you start going in the skyline, you get blinded, so you just want to pull your sunglasses down. So you send it straight down, go down to second gear, nice and tight there, into the S's, very nicely done there, nice and close to the wall. And then Trev, this is the heart in mouth corner here. Sometimes the car wants to unsettle itself, so he's opted to go down to first gear, a little bit of oversteer on the exit there, but he's pushing forward down Conrod, and that was an over the top of the mountain with wheel start. That was good.
Well, the words of a multiple champion, multiple race winner on ACC, Voodoo, as we might get back to... Oh, God! Well, I tell you what we might do. We might get back to the broadcast camera there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll return to the garage and get back to the Vibesy battle. As smoother than Trev's favourite whiskey on a Friday night. And a bit of an industry secret. Well, maybe it's the worst kept secret in the commentary game, Prince. But a nice bottle of scotch will help you do back-to-back nights here on ACC. Let me tell you, as smoother than a whiskey on a Friday night. We might even be getting stuck into it on a Wednesday night as well. And a bottle of Ned's whiskey, of course, out of whiskey actually. Fremantle couldn't win a forfeit, that's for sure, but gee, the old forfeit, that takes me back to the old seconds days at Euroa Football Club. And Vibesy and Urban actually brothers, bragging rights here. It is brother versus brother here at the moment, Chuck. A very interesting little side note there. And, well, it's a shocking revelation that these two are brothers and they're close on track here at the moment, but still plenty of work to do for Vibes in the only Beamer in the field. Can he get Urban Ghost? There's no brotherly love here, is there, between these two with a couple of minutes left?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of sibling rivalry definitely puts a bit of a spark into things. So, yeah, Vibesy and Urban Ghost doing quite well. Both driving different cars, opting to drive the BMW and the Lamborghini, which they go quite well. So there is just under 3 minutes on that clock, Trev. Let's say about 2 laps left, depending on where our leader is on the track. I believe our leader's coming down Conrod, has just entered it now. So yeah, we'll only have about 2 laps left. So will Vibesy be able to claw down this time onto Urban Ghost? Who knows?
Well, let's wait and see. Beaky's not happy. Bragging rights are on the line here, of course, says Wilco. Beaky's not happy with me. He says, Ned's, wild turkey's the way to go. Not bad, the old wild turkey, let me tell you. Urban is 86 rated and Vibesy 85. Winner goes to 87, so they are dynamic ratings, Chuck Norris. So if you do well out on track, you can improve those ratings as well.
Yeah, that's something that I love as well is, you know, we had these driver ratings introduced a little while ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, Trev, if that. And I feel like it's a good thing and a good goal for everybody to kind of work on. You know what I mean? You get a driver rating based on, say, how you handle your wet weather or how you just handle over the course of a lap in terms of pace and overtaking and those types of things. And I feel like it's good. You know, you see your rating and you're like, okay, maybe I need to focus a little bit more on this and a little bit less on this, and kind of when you get to a point, you just mash them all together and hope that your overall rating goes through the roof. You know, when you get a special rated card, I guess, kind of like you would in FIFA.
Yes, that's something we're doing, the ultimate team style here, of course. Inside a minute now left in this race. Hainsey is, this battle continues. We rode on board with Hainsey a couple of minutes ago. But that Lambo, Exo saying the Lambo is a beast, especially in a straight line, Exo, no doubt about that. Nothing like a Jack Daniels singing Bon Scott. AC/DC, that is drunk! Yeah, that is drunk! And yeah, don't want to wake up my daughter either. My wife's going to kill me if I wake her up. But the goon sack on the clothesline is where it's at, says Chuck Norris. Say you're from Murray Downs without saying you're from Murray Downs. But 20 seconds left. And we'll get back to this battle in a moment. Where is our race? I think this is going to be the final lap, Prince. Because most people are shocked when they find out how bad I am as an electrician. No, just kidding.
I get it now. It took a while for my head to kind of click on that.
3, 2, 1, 0. Around the final corner, Murray's corner. The fat lady can finally sing. Woo! And here he comes across the line. Race control. The leaders finish the race. Will Star is the king of Mount Panorama tonight. Matt across the line, 6.5 seconds further back. And then it's Sofa Bed. Sofa King, the large king bed there. Sofa King, number 85, coming down to the chase for the final time. Goonsack, you just stole my heart, says Beaky. And I only read sack from that voodoo, says Exo. What about the old $5 buck chuck Passion Pop? Passion Pop, oh
dude,
boy.
that goes hard.
That goes hard. 2008 memories for me. Across the line, Sofa King gets a podium position. And then it's Metal Steel. He's going to finish in P4. And boy, great performance from Metal Steel. First of the Ferraris here tonight. We know the Ferraris a very close brand to your heart, Nigerian Prince. Urban Ghost is coming up. Vibesy. This is the battle we were looking at. And we saw Exo talk about the Lambo going hard. And he's going to get the job done. Top 5 finish here tonight. He comes across the line here at Mount Panorama. Vibesy in 6th. Zest. And this battle is not over, Prince. Down Conrod straight. Look at this. Who's your money on, Chuck Norris?
Oh, I want to say Hainsey, but the legs of the Merc is always one to compete against. So, it's going to come down to Murray's corner, Trev.
The old Spumante. Oh, my God. Beaky, you're opening up some core memories there. Through the chase. Through turn 22, up towards turn 23. I don't reckon Hainsey's going to do it here. Or if he is, he's going to need a mistake from Zest 1. But that Mercedes is as solid as a rock. Across the line, he takes P7 after a great battle. Saint Sim already a lap down, but he might not be a lap down. He's finishing P9. And that is... I wonder how Spumante got its name there, Beaky. But I've got a pretty fair idea. But that is it. And the flares are going off here at on top of the mountain. There's your final results here tonight in the lead-up, week 2 of the lead-up to the Bathurst 8-hour for the Australia-New Zealand Endurance Series. It's Will Star winning this race. He started on pole position. He lost the lead early in the race after slowly getting off the line. And he takes P1 in the end. Mint-Mat 6.5 seconds further back. And then it's Sofa, Metal Steel. And I think we might have lost... Sidehawk down there in P14. He had his issues tonight. Metal Steel in 4th. Urban Ghost in 5th. Vibesy in 6th. Good performance from him in the sole BMW in the field tonight. Zeswan, Hainsey, Saint Sim, Bits and Miss and rounding out the top 10. Vert Wheeler, Shawnee Fuller, Hammer Time in 13th. Sidehawk, like we said, in 14th. Naughty Norman Price down there in 15th. Nick in 16th. Ranger Oz with a penalty against his name. Cloakade, Polka, Pearl Harbor down there in 20th. And then it was Mac and Cheese. Zaskar down in 22nd. And Jimmy offloading his load. 18 laps down. Then it was Broken Arrow, Water Arrow there in 24th. We saw him have a couple of incidents throughout the race. JJ Norms in 25th. Carpet Snake in 26th. And then Jimbo getting a penalty, Prince. But I think some of these boys left I think they're well and truly on the way home now. They might even have caught their flights out of Bathurst and they're on their way home. Someone awesome, Exo as well. But they are the results, Chuck Norris, as we wait to get our top 3. Do we do are we doing post-race interviews there? We might have a look at the chat as Exorcist.
We can.
Yep.
Sorry, I was going to say we can do a quick rundown of the post-race interviews. I know we've got Will and Sofa King here, if you want to kick them on, and maybe Matt will make an appearance as well, Trev.
Well, that's so I'm hoping for that, but anyway, I'm keeping fingers and toes. But Will Star there, we've got him with us. We'll get to him in a moment. Will Star dominated that one, says Rain of Fire. Chinzano, I can smell that. I know the feeling, Exo. For me, it was Captain Morgan's rum after the 2018 AFL Grand Final. Hainsey, that was a good fun battle, he says. Will Star dominated. Thank you, Rain of Fire. What about West Coast Coolers and Blackberry? Love your work, boys. Don't know how you do it. Well, I tell you what, we're made of some special stuff, Sniper, but you are too. Absolute legend. Great stream again, lads, says Rain of Fire. But we are about to talk to our top three. We might start with our race winner, Will I Am. Will Star, have you got us there, mate? Loud and clear.
G'day, guys. You got me?
We certainly do, my friend. Now, talk us through that race, mate. You blitzed it. Well, I shouldn't say blitzed it, but you started on pole position, mate. Had a little bit of a difficult start off the line. Dropped back to third. Had front row seats between that battle, I think, with Simon and Matt. But you managed to get back into P1 in the end, mate. Give us a summary of how you saw things out there tonight.
Oh, quali was my best ever lap I've done around Bathurst in ACC, so I was pretty happy with that. And then, yeah, fumble. I pressed the start button this week, which was a better start than last week. But then I fumbled the start, losing 2 positions, and then just watched the 2 in front of me fight, and then I was sort of off ahead after that. I just tried to find some consistency, and it went good.
Great stuff, mate. And on a personal note, of course, P1 tonight, mate. Week 2, how's the build-up going for yourself personally, mate? Of course, March the 2nd, the big Bathurst 8-hour race, mate. How's your preparation going?
Yeah, good. I'm pretty happy with the Merc. This setup we got is pretty stable, so I think we'll most likely stick with it now. And it seems fast as well, so just a couple little setup things that we're trying to adjust, make it a little bit better. But yeah, hopefully go good in the 8-hour. Look forward to it.
Great stuff, mate. Well, congratulations for tonight, mate. Great performance. We jumped on board with you a couple of times, mate. Very smooth. Always a pleasure to watch, mate. Thanks for taking the time out as well to join us after a tough race, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for commentating, guys.
Thank you, mate. Always a pleasure to bring this not only to we love streaming it for the people. Great stream again. Thank you, Rain of Fire. And we move along. Thank you, Will Star. Matt, I don't think Matty is with us. But we've got Sofa King, who finished in P3 tonight. He's joining us on the line. Sofa, mate, have you got us there?
Yeah, mate, got you loud and clear.
Good stuff, mate. P3 for you tonight, mate. Talk about your race. It seemed a little bit uneventful. We know there was some carnage at turn 1, mate, but are you happy with the podium finish in the end?
Yeah, no, pretty happy. Well, considering I've been battling the flu all week, so I wasn't even going to race tonight, and then thought I'd jump on just in time for quali. Then I don't know what happened in turn 1. Got tapped there, went all the way from 5th back to 13th or 14th, I think, and then slowly made my way back through the field, and then people kept dropping off. I think I'm going to start getting the name Stephen Bradbury here. Everybody seems to fall off, and I just seem to come through, which is nice, but no, good race. Pretty happy with the Aston at the moment, so hopefully all things go well, we should do well in the 8-hour.
Great stuff, mate. Looking forward to it. You can see there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, the road. This is the road to the Bathurst 8-hour, of course. Week 2, the drivers getting plenty of practice in. GT3s tonight, of course. Tomorrow night from 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll be back again, I believe, with GT4s. Exo says, Sofa, absolute legend from BHR. So plenty of love in the chat there for you, Sofa. But thank you for joining us, mate. Congratulations. P3 tonight, mate. Thanks for taking the time out to have a chat with us, mate. We'll catch you next time around.
Cheers, boys.
Great stuff. GT4s tomorrow night, of course. Thank you, Wilco, confirming that in the chat. And, well, you can hear the despondency in my voice, and that's because someone hasn't joined us in the chat, Chuck. But anyway, Matt not joining us in the chat. That's okay. We'll move on from that, Prince, and I think that might be a wrap from us tonight. Thank you, my friend. Chuck, always a pleasure to have you along, mate. And we'll be back to do it all over again tonight. But the big one, of course, Chuck, on the 1st and 2nd of March, isn't it? The big one, the 8 hours at Bathurst, mate. Cannot wait for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't have said it wrong there, Trev. It's always a privilege to share the commentary box with you, not only for these races here, but also for the endurance series. I greatly appreciate you welcoming me in, and I learned quite a few things from you in terms of the commentary sides of things. But yeah, the road to the 8-hour is really heating up now. Only a few short weeks to go until we see qualifying on the 1st of March and the race on the 2nd of March. But yeah, like you said, Trev, we'll be back tomorrow night for the GT4s, and I look forward to seeing what those guys can do.
Well, 42 days, 13 hours, 26 minutes, and 9 seconds until we kick off the 8 hours of Bathurst. If you believe that, you'll believe anything, but we're almost out of time. Thank you, Chuck Norris. And in the beginning, there was nothing. When God said, let there be light, Chuck Norris said, say please. Thank you, Chuck. Great to have you with us as always from South Australia. Another brilliant stream from the superheroes. Yes, Captain Planet. Thank you for calling us Heroes EXO, trying to take pollution down to zero. But that's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Chuck Norris. Thank you, everybody who's joined us in the stream. The list is longer than my arm, and I'd be here all night. I'd be here all night thanking everybody, of course. But well, he wants what Jason Wilkinson wants one more Chuck Norris joke. Well, put it this way, Wilco, when the dinosaurs looked at Chuck Norris the wrong way, you know what happened to them. Anyway, that's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure. Be kind to one another. Don't forget, we've got GT4s tomorrow night from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. We're out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Like I always say, be kind to one another, and we'll see you next time around. But for now, it's goodbye.